dispose of the share to minimize your loss. So naturally the fact that you would have got dividend in simple Hindi, आदमी ये सोचता कि अरे कुछ नहीं तो चलो dividend तो आ ही जाएगा. I'm not going to offload this share because there's a chance next year rights issue मिल जाएगा, or I will get a bonus share, or if not anything I believe dividend कुछ आ जाएगा. Now that is exempt in India. Because now in our country we have decided to tax the payer, not the recipient, because it was impossible for the government to find two people who were holding 5 shares. So they said let the company pay, and then like you have in other regimes, you have that 1150 dividend distribution tax, and that if the company did not pay, you pay. You will be surprised, some countries, Taiwan follows that. So when we have a double taxation agreement with them, it could not take place because they follow the older theory. If you do not declare dividend, you pay tax. They believe enriching the shareholder is the larger public goal of corporates. And here it was the other way. They were surprised. They said, you mean to say when the company pays, it has to pay tax? We said yes. They said, oh, it will be very difficult because our companies will refuse. If they come to India, they are not going to pay tax. We couldn't overcome this hurdle for Taiwan. So I agree, there is no real answer, there will be no absolute answer. It should be case by case. That is what I said. And that is why there is a principle of administrative law which actually applies. It is good to have the power of a giant, but bad to use it as a giant. The use should be of like a judicious person. So when your case, the AO does not apply it and uses it like a giant, then you get it corrected. But merely because he will misuse it, you cannot run down the whole provision. And for this, in a lighter vein, there is a very good Urdu couplet. एक शायर ने कहा है कि don't let the honeybee enter the garden. Because I know it in English, being a lawyer, I don't know the Urdu one, but the Urdu one is don't let the honeybees enter the garden. So the person asks him why. He says if these honeybees enter the garden, they will suck nectar from the flowers. Then having sucked the nectar from the flowers, they will build a hive. Now when the hive is built, there will be honey, and the children who come to play in the garden will get compelled to go for the honey. And when they try and break it for the honey, the bees will sting them. So do not let the bees enter the garden. So the joke is, do not enact it because ye sab bhi hoga uske saath. There is a remedy for it. You must litigate it out before the CIT appeal, to be fair, and ITAT. And probably ITAT has been, they are giving relief on strategic investment. We don't subscribe to that theory. They are giving relief. They are now catena of decisions where they say that we are holding it as strategic investment. Now you see, it goes against the grain. There's no, it is a capital expenditure. Holding of investments is not a business activity. First decision is Ram Narayan. Then Bombay High Court, what is that? 238 ITR 777. That lady's name is Amrita Behan Shah. 238 ITR 777. You read Bombay High Court, very clear. It is not business because you are doing nothing. There is no churning. You have just taken it and you are sitting. That's called controlling interest. Your idea is to keep control of the company by sitting over the shares. Otherwise, there will be some marauder who will try and unsettle you. So it cannot be business. So you can't claim that expenditure. Otherwise also it is capital because of Ram Narayan's case and this Amrita Behan Shah 238 ITR 777. So, but good, we keep on discussing this, so it helps. Now, internal aids to construction of statute, and they've said short title, long title, we'll try. See, in a section, when we give the title, that is to convey to the reader of the act the purpose, the object, and the intention of the lawmaker. What he wants to tell you about that. And now, very interesting, but it cannot control the main provisions of the section. Let us be very clear. It cannot control the main provisions of the section. It can only be referred to resolve some ambiguity. But this also I will qualify in relation to the Constitution of India, which you are going to do, because this was argued by none the less than Mr. Palkhiwala to drive home the point in Keshav Nand Bharati about the amending power of the Constitution. I'll come to that. So now just see 14A CE. Why? Because sometimes even we have no answer, and then because we said that the main section cannot govern it. See, expenditure incurred in relation to income not includable in total income. Now the word incurred has been used by the taxpayer in his favor, that if I have not incurred it, what are you doing in all this? But you will appreciate that this is only the title, the head note. It cannot govern the main provisions, and the main provisions are based upon two cardinal principles of law and accounts: the matching principle and the theory that you cannot take a double deduction, because that is unjust. You can't take a double deduction unless the law expressly provides for it. So this word in the title will give you a feeling that you must incur it. So only then the taxman can make the disallowance. But now, because the main section gives the entire philosophy, the jurisprudence, so this is only indicator. And now coming to the other side, what I mentioned, we must know it as citizens of our great country. When Parliament wanted to amend the Constitution, and Mr. Palkhiwala went from Bombay to Delhi and argued in the Supreme Court, so his brilliance was such that they couldn't find an answer. He found one answer in the head note to Article 368. Now remember, 368 is the article which is the amendment of Constitution. And this I used to do in my law, but I think they changed it. But if they have not, I can do it in 2 minutes, and you will appreciate it. Because when I read it first time, I was also very impressed. I'll just take 1 minute. 368. Okay, I got it very quickly. Now see, what happened was, in one line I'll tell you, and then just this. The whole fight between the citizen, and that was Mr. Palkhiwala and the others, and Mr. Chagla and all, and against the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Gandhi, was that Parliament has unabridged power. It can do anything to the Constitution. Mr. Palkhiwala argued that in a written Constitution, because England doesn't have a written Constitution, they have conventions. When you have written it and you have sort of adapted it to yourself, there are inherent limitations, implied limitations. It's called the theory of implied limitations. This is also based upon a German jurist. It's very interesting. See how people react. Because of Hitler in Germany, Hitler used to change the Constitution as it suited him. So there's a very good joke that a lawyer like me went to a bookshop and he asked, can I have a copy of the German Constitution? So the bookseller told the lawyer, sorry, we do not stock periodicals. So that is the thing. After 10 days it used to change. So what happens is, when Palkhiwala was asked by the Supreme Court, how can you explain, now this is what we are doing, title. Then the title to the Constitution, the marginal note was Procedure for Amendment of the Constitution. I'll put it in one line, you all will appreciate. So the judges were also shocked. He said, see, it is only a procedure. The power does not reside in you, it resides in the people. And the word amendment means that the basic structure will remain the same. Amendment means what? To use your mad language, tinkering. You only change a bit. You cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution of India. And he said this. Now after this, what they did was, now the amended title here is Power of Parliament. These words were missing. They were brought in later by the I think 42nd. One is 24th Amendment. See the importance. So when you have an ambiguity, to resolve it, a brilliant lawyer like Mr. Palkiwala used this. And the government realized, oh God, what have we done in 51? So they said, now by 24 they use the word power also. We have the power. But the decision of Keshav Nand. So the importance of it is you must read the title and the marginal note below it. Like in 14A, incurred, the word incurred is there. So someone, now it is pending in High Court and Supreme Court, can take it up that you intended to convey the idea incurred. But we will repel it by saying that if you see the main body, this is interesting, see the interplay. That in the title you say something but you end up meaning something else. And this is it, procedure, power, and so this got neutralized. So this is the importance. In income tax I have shown you from one section, and this is the ultimate, the Constitution of India. So procedure. And one more thing, how each word has importance. In the end, in 368, it says the Constitution shall stand amended. Then Mr. Palkiwala actually argued in the Supreme Court that when you have changed everything, then what does the word stand mean? In fact, he joked, it shall stand destroyed. It shall not stand amended. But then there is a very famous legal jurist, he gave an answer that if you mean that the word stand has some special meaning, then if you see paper inserts that because of rain, the match stands cancelled, then that also is the same, stand. So this is the answer to Mr. Palkiwala, given by a very famous law professor of Delhi University, Professor P.K. Tripathi. In fact, at one time the government wanted to make him a direct judge of the Supreme Court. There's a clause, eminent jurist, but that was opposed. So he didn't. But he gave this answer. You can't go by the word stand. So why I am telling you, you have to read the statute as a whole. Remember, disjointed it will convey some meaning. But that is not the way. You have to take it as a whole. So this is a live example, because this debate between Parliament and lawyers about who is more powerful is always going on. And this I showed you from 14A also.
So 179 is also similar.
This thing.
Visual director's liability. Their wording titles are visualism at the time.
Well, he's right. 179 also. As that we have done this. We have discussed it somewhere. And that also has that. That the title is somewhat different, but the... In fact, why I am saying, because when this was put to me incurred, it took me 3 hours to get over it, how to answer it, because they said that is the intention, that I must have incurred it, coupled with the theory of real taxation, that you tax only real income, you don't tax. Company liquid, liability of directors of private company in liquidation. In liquidation.
So only just one point, when 14A is saying incurred, rightly see incurred, if something is not incurred and it is disallowed, will it not result in double disallowance? How far it is correct?
Then that's what I said. Now it's a grey. See, you have written incurred, but below in the section and the method that you have enumerated in 8D, you don't talk of it. You talk of I won't use the word notional. You can say notional. We talk of a disallowance based upon certain concepts. Now, my position, that's why I am being frank, that you should take it up. That I agree, you take it up, we will answer.
My point is this. My point is this. For disallowance, the word disallowance, first of all, there should be an allowance claim. When I am not claiming any allowance, where is the question of disallowance? I mean, I am reading the word disallowance in this question.
So well taken.
If you can.
I'll come to that last, because that will also take care of my one answer, which I am myself perplexed. In one case, he has an expenditure of 10,000, but in that 10,000 there are other things, club members, etc., which is based on vouchers and everything. Now that whole thing becomes zero, because the 80 disallowance has to be limited to only that 10. You can't exceed. I myself concede. But then how do you reconcile? What will happen to his other expenditure? Where did it come from then? I agree that even I have not been. And as I said, the only concept on that could be harshness. That see, then there can be no explanation to taxation. I agree. Then there can be no explanation.
So there is no.
And that only Supreme Court, because Supreme Court under Article 141 declares the law. No other court declares the law, not even the High Court. So only Supreme Court can declare the law that this is it.
And so you said equity in taxation are
Strangers, not enemies.
enemies.
So that goes in your favor. So in liquidation, this is also there. This casts a legal fiction, because this is actually, but we must remember that your corporate veil and the doctrine of Salomon versus Salomon gets, you can say, diluted. This is because of fraud. You have to attribute fraud or malfeasance to the directors, then they become liable to a company in liquidation. And fraud, they say, vitiates any proceeding, any transaction. Remember, fraud is always exception. Any law will have the exception fraud. If there is fraud, then no protection is available under any law, because it's a criminal law. In fact, it's a very interesting thing. In some countries, they use the word tax fraud to overcome this limitation and this, because there can be no limitation on a criminal. So if India actually means business and they want to, they should try and take example from one or two countries where they use this word, and Britain is one. I've seen their Income Tax Act, and the one in relation to penalty, they use the word. They use another word in English that also means something like a fraud, covin, C-O-V-I-N. I read it for the first time in the British Income Tax Act. Covin, fraud, they use it. So, maybe. So this is an exception to that. So the title and your marginal note can only clarify, but it cannot govern. Remember that. It can clarify, it cannot govern the main provisions of the Act. So in case there is an ambiguity, you refer to it for an ambiguity, which is right in 14A, but we showed there is no ambiguity if you follow the accounting policies and standards. See, I always say, I am very impressed by your matching principle, which is in Taparia Tools, 260 ITR, Bombay High Court, 323 I think. 260 ITR pakka hai, 323 hoga. Justice Kapadia. See there, the other decision is Bhor Industries, where he did not follow. But there they took the benefit of 37. See, that's what I was shocked. If you follow 260 ITR, then Bhor is not good law. Where the retrenchment was for all the employees and you allowed it in the same year. Whereas it was for latter part. So the matching principle gets disturbed. But in Taparia Tools, 260 ITR, he followed it. And they did not allow the expenditure of this company for retrenchment. They said no, it will be current income versus current expenditure. So only that much which is relatable to this year will be allowed. Taparia Tools. So okay, now there's one interesting thing. We have said the preamble. Actually, preamble, there's a line. It is key to the mind of the framers of the Act. This is the key to that. That is why the best example actually is from the Constitution of India. We the people. And if you notice, when those two words were inserted, we can get up with it very quickly. Someone challenged it, but that challenge was repelled by the Supreme Court. They said, no, it represents the philosophy of India that it is a socialist republic apart from being democratic. If you remember, the word socialist was not there in 51, it came later. Because of our feudal history, we have, and those of us who are from Rajasthan and have worked there, I'm not exaggerating, if you go to Rajasthan, even now, the royal family is looked up with a lot of respect and awe. And it became a problem for me. I was assessing the Rajmata, Gayatri Devi ji and His Highness. Now, we can't address them like that. Article 17 and 18, abolition of titles. But everyone, the CA would come, कि हुकुम सरकार वो आ रहे हैं, वो details है आपने मांगा है, we will give. And then there was an official function and he had to be a part of it. Why I'm saying it's interesting, then I'll come to preamble. Socialist has importance. So my chief commissioner told me, how will you not keep him on stage, the Maharaja of Jaipur? I said, see, don't mind it. The only thing is then politely we'll tell him because of the constitution. Then everyone addresses him as with the utmost respect. He's no more now. His Highness. So I told my chief commissioner, avoid it. It can get into controversy. But Sai Baba found a way out. He was awarded the Mahavir Chakra twice. That is a military title which you have to recognize. So we ended up by saying, and we are delighted to have in our midst Mahavir Chakra. That is called at the bar. When you win it twice, it's called at the bar. He won it in 65, he won it in 71 war. The Maharaja of Jaipur. Very gallant one. So we said this. But two people came to me and they told me, ये आपने क्या क्या आपने उनको. I told them, like, on a platform you cannot. So the importance of the word socialist comes like that. And Rajmata Jaipur, we all respected her. But the point is, after a certain stage, because of the constitution, you cannot. This thing. So socialist assumes importance. Now why I said preamble is that, is the preamble a part of the Constitution of India? This came up for Keshav Nanda again. So हुआ क्या था कि there is an earlier decision that's constituted, we did not go, where by mistake Supreme Court had said it is not a part of the Constitution, it cannot control the Constitution of India. The case is, if you want to know, Berubari Union. It was a presidential reference under Article 143. But in Keshav Nand Bharti, definitely Supreme Court said nahi, it is a part of the Constitution, and the importance is कि अगर कोई चीज में ambiguity है, we will refer to the preamble to resolve it. Like if there is this concept of the most contested case, Urban Land Ceiling Act 76. If you see, उसमें एक clause सबसे confiscatory था कि जो compensation है surplus land का, last में it became as good as 10 paisa or something or 20. So someone challenged it कि this is not taxation, this is confiscation. So Justice Krishna referred to the preamble. So, and उसमें उसको save कर दिया कि in a socialistic pattern you have to have equitable distribution of resources. There cannot be concentration of wealth at the hands of the few. And the purpose of the urban land, now it has been repealed. Everyone knows that. It came into effect on 24th of Feb 1976 and created a lot of problems for everyone who had property in India. So they repealed it later. So they referred it, and the last clause was saved. कि जिसमें if the compensation exceeded 5 lakhs, then the rate became very minimal. Very minimal. So the importance of what you have mentioned in preamble is that it is a part of the act, but as I have been repeating, it cannot control the express provisions of the section, but only to resolve the ambiguity, and mainly it is actually more relevant for the Constitution of India because of the fundamental rights case. Keshav Nand Bharti is known as the fundamental rights case, where the Supreme Court had to review its earlier decision and say we made a mistake, and now, and this is your importance, that when we say a decision is per incurium, the problem is the lawyers never pointed it out. No one pointed out the speech of Dr. Ambedkar from the Constituent Assembly, which again the credit goes to a Bombay very senior advocate, Mr. Sirwal, whose book Constitutional Law of India is a legend, and he pointed out, the Constituent Assembly said this. So the preamble is a part of our constitution, and in the act also the preamble will distinguish. Now coming to illustrations. The best example from illustration is 114, which is relevant for income tax proceedings of the Indian Evidence Act. Illustrations are court may presume, and one is, which is very important for all of us, if no evidence is produced by the party having it, then the presumption is if it were produced, it will be adverse to that party. This is very important because in cash credit it comes. Suppose when the AO insists that you have entered into the transaction and you are unable to, then actually they should work hard and take benefit of this illustration. But he has to prove first that you are withholding it. Now, if that type of evidence is withheld, the presumption is actually that it would not have helped you. So, and then D I have given that government acts are performed. Why? Sometimes you want to see the order sheet. Sometimes you want to see something that's not available. So, actually, this presumption helps the government in rebutting it. That you should have something more with you to show that this act was not performed the way you want it to be performed. So, this, and then there is that estoppel, that will also come 150. So, these illustrations are meant to explain the section. But again, the rider is they cannot widen the scope of the section. Please remember that. Sometimes there may be an illustration which says something, but that illustration cannot widen the scope of the section if the main body of the section does not touch it. One example is again from Indian Evidence Act, section 9 and 10. Things said done by a conspirator with reference to common intention. Now what has happened is, ऊपर उन्होंने डिजाइन लिख दिया, common design, and नीचे intention लिखा है. तो you will pick it up very fast. Design is wider, intention is narrow. Why? Two of us may have a common design to, let's say, do something, but the intention may be different. Your intention may be to do it in a ABC fashion. My intention to be XYZ. So the head note uses the word design, but that does not widen the scope. Intention means each should know the mind of the other. Contract act, consensus ad item. So again, the main section will override the illustration or the head note. So you cannot widen it by saying कि because आपने illustration में ऐसे लिख दिया है, so I would compel you to follow it. No, the main provision. So this would be the illustration, the marginal note, and this thing. Now coming to definitions. So we say definition is 224. Income has been defined, or we did that other one, no? Right. So it is means and includes and includes. Includes is inclusive. When you say means and includes, it is exhaustive. Then you cannot refer to anything from outside. You have to limit it to that it means and includes. And we gave captain's transfer 247. These are live examples because 247 read with 45.4. There are two schools of thought. That Parliament, by not amending 247, did not intend to bring dissolution of a partnership as transfer. The second school of thought, which is I think Chennai ITAT, that agrees with us. Indore does not agree with us. The citation anyway. The Chennai says no. Because it is only an inclusive definition, it does not exhaust the general concept of transfer. And 45.4 uses the word by way of. Now, by way of is that? Yeah, time? Huh? Yes, yes. What's the time? So, by way of. Now, just remember, when you read a section, each word is important. Please see in 45.4, by way of. This is very important. It equates it to transfer. The use of the word by way of, it means it's transfer. You don't have to go to 247. So, distribution of assets by way of. So, by way of assumes significance there. That is the importance. But anyway, some forum have started reading to 47 into that. So, that is the thing. Proviso. So with proviso is exception. You have to read them hand in hand. Proviso is, it carves a separate this thing. Provided that. And there will be a further proviso. So proviso only means that to the limited extent, this is very important, to the limited extent, the provisions of the main section will not apply, but only to that limited extent for which the proviso has been, and it mentions schedule. Actually there we said the rule of egestem generis. When the items are mentioned in the schedule and they use the word and the like, so you will have to construe it egestem generis, means from the articles appearing just before that. They will give color to that. You cannot bring in something out of context into that, in and the like. And transitional provision, the best example is again the Constitution. You have the Government of India Act 35, so to maintain continuity and to maintain continuity with the British government assurances and covenants that they had entered into, we had a transitional provisions. It is there in the last, that all those deeds, acts and all done in conformity with that will be now deemed to be in conformity with the Constitution of India. That means the Indian government could not rebuke or could not refute those acts by saying that we are a new sovereign and this we will not this thing. And that can be even in Income Tax Act. For an intervening period, which when the direct tax code was to come, there was a provision that for one, or better still your GAR, that now it has been deferred for 2 years, they have said, and the specific anti-avoidance. So if it comes into effect, then this would have been the transitional provision till it comes into effect, because it is there, but it has been kept in abeyance, kept on hold. Now very quickly, they've said parliamentary history, historical facts and surrounding circumstances. Yes, parliamentary history is important in amendments and Hayden's rule, because it says what was the act before the amendment, what is the remedy that Parliament sought. So there is actually a rule that parliamentary history is not to be used in interpreting a section, because Parliament has already said. I'll just take 5 minutes. This is interesting. The leading case is KP Varghese, straight away Apache 130. They refer to Mr. Chidambaram's speech to give relief. Justice Bhagwati referred to it, and with the caution in KP Varghese, I think KP Varghese should be 130 ITR. It's a very famous case. The name you Google, you will get it, 130. They referred to Mr. Chidambaram's speech, and then he gave the interpretation to it, that this is the interpretation to be given and not as we were contending. So parliamentary history traditionally was not to be taken. That rule is an English decision, Pepper versus Hart. The rule was in Pepper versus Hart, in English decision, but now it is diluted, and Varghese, even Srinivas Shetty, I think, they have referred to parliamentary history. Now there is a tendency to refer to it, to say this is the purpose for which the section was incorporated. And since I have referred KP Varghese, the principle of contemporaneous expositio comes there. This is contemporaneous exposition of the law, meaning when the law is promulgated, the CBDT issues a circular. So the rule is, this is very clear, circular is binding on us, the officers, not binding on the judiciary. Ratan Smelting, leading decision, Supreme Court. But as an aid to construction, remember there is a distinction now. Not binding on the judiciary, binding on the officers, but because of this principle of contemporaneous expositio, that a contemporaneous authority gives a contemporaneous interpretation while introducing the section, please, it is relevant for interpreting it. In KP Varghese, they referred to the CBDT circular and used it to their advantage, the Supreme Court. That this is the interpretation, even CBDT put on it. So this is that Latin word, and it will come from that, surrounding circumstances. Then subsequent social, political, economic, scientific inventions, nothing better. When the sections were introduced, easiest is when telephone was not invented, you had the Telegraph Act. then the Telegraph Act was interpreted to mean it includes telephone, and in Evidence Act you had no concept of computers. Then the code started including your hard disks. That this is also a means of information, and it has been encrypted though, but it would be tantamount to a statement, to something like a statement made by the SSU, because you've encrypted it yourself. So they equated it. Now we are amending it. So this is your subsequent this thing. Now reference to other statutes. Statutes in pari materia, assistance of earlier statutes, later usage in this, and dictionaries. I've said don't make a photo, that is this, but common meaning you refer to. That how the dictionary defines it, you will get it in this thing. And use of foreign decisions. Now, I think in income tax, you need not say, we are all looking to England only, Duke of Westminster, whereas the joke was in McDowell. If you remember, there are very famous lines. Anyone who likes reading it from an academic point, Chinnappa Reddy said that the ghost of the Duke of Westminster has been exorcised in India. Exorcised is nikal diya gaya. But very quickly, Arvind Narottam's case came, and then Azadi Bachao, and they put it back. So Chinnappa Reddy wanted to deviate from that principle by saying that the ghost of the Duke of Westminster has been exorcised from India. I do not agree with it. It is unholy, it is not correct, and you have to pay your taxes. And you cannot, his philosophy was push the burden. An intelligent and artful dodger, that is the tax, cannot put it on an innocent taxpayer. But then in Arvind Narottam's case, and then this Azadi Bachao is very clear. They did away with it, and Vodafone also accepted it. So in fact, for you people, it's a good thing for in Vodafone, Supreme Court one has said, we will not apply the principles of purposive interpretation. The subject to be taxed must come strictly within the four corners of the statute. That is his plan. This is Justice Kapadia's judgment in Vodafone against us. So that's it. And then this statutes in pari materia is that suppose the same thing is defined in another enactment also, cognate or agnet, like in customs. Manufacture is the best case. Now only it has come in the Income Tax Act. Otherwise, if you see all the cases of manufacture, we took the definition from customs excise. Production of a new article or thing, and whether it is manufactured or not. So that is how you take the meaning in pari materia, how it is used in another enactment, and assistance of earlier statutes and later statutes. Assistance of earlier is important. Why? There is a rider. Okay, don't read the amended law in such a way as to take it back to the earlier position. There is a tendency that, which I said, don't make it stillborn. So earlier statute should be kept in mind, but when there is a deviation or departure, you must keep that in mind, that do not tend to read it. In fact, with utmost respect, again coming back to 14A, in one case we said, if you accept what the Learned Council is saying, then you are going back to Rajasthan warehousing. We won the case only on one line, because that in effect was Rajasthan warehousing. That is not the law anymore in India. So, reference to an earlier statute should be very carefully done when there is an amendment. That then it is counterproductive, it doesn't help you. Later, and usage in practice, these are more in this thing, civil law and transfer of property act, how it is understood, or in contract, in common thing. So that takes care only one small thing, but I'll answer very quickly, I'll get up. See, what you said was in expenditure incurred in relation to. The whole fight is, in Daga, it has been said in relation to means direct and indirect. Now, indirect expenditure is always a dispute. And the second is, I must answer in all fairness, I have only debited 10,000. Now, let me be very clear. In the indirect component, and this is for most of the accountants here with such long standing, that you have accounted for only 10,000, yes, with different subheads, but then the conflict between law and accounts, and I want an answer, is one is Chellapulli sugars, that your accounting entries are there. Then there is Tuticorin alkalis also, 227 ITR 172. what does it say? When there is a conflict between law and accounts, what does it say? Law will take precedence. I should say that here. I'm in a minority. All of you are chartered accountants. So law will also prevail. That is what UT Corin says. Now if I am wrong, you do correct me. The law is direct and indirect. So to that extent, call it legal fiction, call it, I don't admit to legal fiction because then I'll get stuck. My learned friends think that I interpret it very strictly. So the law is that you have to account, you have to have some indirect expenditure. How can you say you don't have any indirect expenditure? That is it. That is the debate. I think only Supreme Court can resolve this. No one else.
Excuse me, we are running short of time. If you could just.
Achha, I'm outside. You can ask me outside.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes break. We have meeting. We are running short of time. I'm very sorry for that. But, okay, friends. Friends, really here an eminent person and a person with a clear thoughts, absolutely clear thoughts. It's always a pleasure. You learn not many things. And Sri Srivastava is one of them. When you hear him, his thoughts on any particular point of law is absolutely clear. There is no ambiguity. And therefore it enlightens all of us. It is more safe to hear him here rather than tribunal. Because the tribunal is on the opposite side and we get slightly worried, because if we start speaking, probably we have some difficult time. It's always better to hear him here, and therefore we thought it to invite him here. And I must admit that the explanation which he has given is wonderful. It's many things have been discussed and many brilliant ideas have come to this table. I would request our convener Dinesh Poddar to please give a well-deserved vote of thanks to Sri Srivastava. Immediately after vote of thanks, we will break for around 5 to 7 minutes maximum. We are running short of some time. I would request all of you to gather as quickly as you can. Around 7-10 minutes break, and then we will start our next session, which is also a very interesting session. I would request Dinesh to please carry out the vote of thanks.
At the outset, sir, we are thankful to you for gracefully accepting our invitation and giving your valuable time. Sir, we are grateful to you for your excellent analysis on the subject and covering the topic with all your energy and wisdom. Sir, this will help us to return to our workplace with renewed energy, vigor and determination. With this, I, on behalf of all members present and Chamber of Tax Consultants, propose a very hearty vote of thanks and request you all to carry out this.